I am Master Sergeant Allred, the Senior Instructor. As a Senior Instructor, I want to take a minute to stress the importance of SQI 4-10 written assignment in APA format. The staff and I are committed to providing you with all the tools necessary to ensure that you achieve the standard or achieve well above the standard. The choice is yours. Unfortunately, from time to time in the past, students have chosen an entirely different path. Words like plagiarism, late, or poor content come to mind. This can mean the difference between exceeding, achieving, or failing to achieve core standards. You've all heard the phrase, a picture speaks 1,000 words. Your paper you submit will say a lot about you as an NCO. So with that said, take my words to heart, put in the work, and good luck.
All right, let's take a look at your paper. In your header, you should have the words running head, colon, and then your title in all caps, and then with the page number 1 at the right-hand margin. You should have your information centered with your title, your name, the institution, the class number, instructor's name, and then the date you turn it in. And then on the first page of the actual paper, and your header, you should have your title again in all caps without the words running head, and of course the number 2, because that's the second page. And then rather than having the words introduction, you will simply retype your title, but this time only capitalizing the first letter of important words. And then you'll type your introduction. And then from your rubric, you will see that you begin your first information for the body. And here it is, area canvassing, which is just some keywords from the first box of that rubric. You want to make sure that it's bolded and centered to the paper. And then every subsequent box within the rubric after that, you would want to do the same thing. Just select keywords and phrases to section that part of the rubric off in the paper so that the instructor can easily find the information. And then once you have typed in all your information from each of the requirements of the rubric, then you will want to conclude your paper simply by typing the word conclusion, and it too is bolded, and then you will just put the word conclusion in all bold and then recap the main points of your paper and then finish it out. And then finally, your last page will be bibliography, and you will use the word bibliography because in this assignment you were not required to do in-text citation, so you are only required to list all the sources of information that you used within your paper. And notice here that you want to make sure that you have a hanging indentation, that each of your sources are listed and everything is double spaced, and that they are in alphabetical order. In this video, we're going to show you how to set up your paper in Microsoft Office Word 2007 to meet the American Psychological Association, or APA's, formatting style. The first place we want to start is at the Home tab, and we want to set our font and font size. For APA, it's Times New Roman, and it's 12. And then to make that our default font, we can just simply click on this little down arrow, which opens up a dialog box, and we see we have Times New Roman 12, and then we click default. And this should set the font for your entire paper. If it doesn't, then you can simply come back and follow these steps again. And then the next thing we need to do is do our line spacing. So from the paragraph section, click the little diagonal box again. Another dialog box opens. And from here we want to make sure that for line spacing we set it to double. And here after the word before and after, make sure these are set to 0. And then click Don't Add Space Between Paragraphs of the Same Style. And we want to make this too our default settings. And then the next thing we want to do is set our margins and go to the Page Layout tab, click Margins. We want to click Normal, which creates the 1-inch margin all the way around. And then once we've done that, we're ready to do our header. So we want to go to the Insert tab and then come across and click Header. And then come down to Edit Header. And this will open. But one thing we have to do is click Different First Page. And then we simply type the words running head, colon, and then our title in all caps. And I'm going to use this title. And then we will tab to the right-hand margin. We will go to page number, and then click current position, and then plain number. And that will put our number in place. And it will change as we go along in the paper to the next sequential number. And then we need to just close our header. And so now we're on our title page. And let's go ahead and type in our information that we need to have for our title page before we move on to the rest of the paper. And so here you see there should be a ruler down the side. If you don't have a ruler, then click View, and then click the ruler box, and that will put a ruler at the top and the side of your page. Come back to the Home tab, and then we want to go to the Paragraph section and click the center line icon to move our prompt to the middle of the page. And then we want to enter about 5 times to be about at the number 2 on our ruler. And we of course want to have our title, name, your name, the institution, the class number, the instructor's name, and the date. And this completes the information that you will need to have on your title page. And then to go to the next page quickly and to create a page break, you want to hit Control, Enter. Now that we're on the second page of where we will start writing our paper, we need to create a new header. And so we follow the same steps as before. You're going to go to Insert, Header, and then Edit Header again. And then just type the title of your paper in all caps again without the words running head. And then tab twice to get to the right-hand margin. Go back to page number, current position, and plain number. And notice that the page number changed automatically to 2. And then just exit to close your header. And then you'll begin your introduction of your paper. In APA, you do not type the word introduction. You simply retype the title of your paper and capitalize keywords and not the whole thing. And then here's where you would type your introduction. Of course. And then in your rubric, you have different rows of criteria that you need to explain within your paper. And this is where you would section your paper with headings. So for the first body of information that you need to have, this is where you would need to place your what is called an APA, a Level 1 heading. And from the information in your rubric, just select keywords and phrases that you want to have as your heading, and you want to make sure you bold it. And for this one, we're going to put demographics. The word demographics, and then you would write about that, and then you might have a next heading in your rubric that would cover your school program plan. And then finally, you might have a section in which you have to write about a sustainment plan. Whoops. And then the last section of your paper, of course, would be your conclusion. You would simply write the word conclusion in bold type as well. And that will finish the introduction, body, and conclusion of your paper. And then once you've done that, you want to hit Control Enter, and this will take you to your bibliography page. The final page of your paper is your bibliography, and I'm going to show you how to set up your bibliography page so that you can have an automatic hanging indentation. And so the first thing we'll need to do is go to the paragraph section. We're going to click the diagonal arrow, and where it says special, we're going to go click on that. You see hanging, and then of course make sure the line spacing is still set to double and that there are zeros here after the words before and after, and then click don't add space, and then click OK. And then of course we want to go to our centering icon and simply type the word bibliography. This time it will not be bolded. And now it's centered. And then just hit Enter and come back to the left margin. Now before we type in our first source, I want to say that when you're typing your sources, you only space once after periods. In the rest of the paper you will space twice, but in the bibliography you only space once after periods. And so I'm now going to type the first source that we have, and I'm going to show you a template of documents that you will use here, such as a job aid that's created in-house here at SMTC, and then of course often you use Army regulations, PAMs, and field manuals, and those don't always have a really good example of how to cite. So we're going to give you this template just to show you the order in which to put that information. And so the first thing we're going to start with is a job aid. And then of course the title will be in italics and only capitalize the first word. And now that we have one of our regulations in, or either a job aid, we just simply can copy and paste it if we have another one that we need to do. And then just simply change key information. And of course you can do this with any resource. If you find online a book, you could do the same thing. Just simply find one that's already formatted and then paste it in and then change the information. And there you have it. And now you will see that our resources are not alphabetized, and so here's how you would quickly do that. Just simply highlight them And then from the Home tab, you want to find the little A to Z icon and click on it. Paragraphs, text, we want to click the ascending button and then click OK. And there, that quickly puts it into the correct order. And now the final step for our paper is to do a grammar and spell check. And here's how you would easily do that. So I'm going to misspell the word guard. And then you want to go to the Review tab. Click the Spelling and Grammar. And notice how it flagged the word guard. It's now in red. And so we want to select the correct spelling and change it. Anything that's a grammar issue will be in green, and here you have a fragment. Well, we want that to be a fragment, so we're just going to say ignore once, and now it's complete. And so that completes your paper. We hope this tutorial has been very beneficial to you and that it supports you in your success. Hello, my name is Darlene Sowers and I'm the Training Development Educator here at SMTC. You have just finished watching 2 videos to guide you through formatting your Microsoft Office Word for APA formatting. In addition to these 2 videos, you have other resources within Blackboard under the Writing Resources section, Student Support tab, for additional help and support. Within this section, you will find written directions covering the same content that you covered today in the videos. As well, there is an APA-style handbook that will give you guidance for organizing your content, along with links to the writing labs of major universities to help you with any grammar or punctuation questions you may have. We understand that for some of you, this may be the very first time that you've ever had to write an APA formatted paper, so we want to give you additional support if you need it. So please feel free to contact me at the email address you see on the screen, and I will be glad to get in touch with you and answer those questions. And like all of the staff here at SMTC, I support your success, and we want to do everything we can to help you be successful.